Hello everyone, welcome to our lecture video. In this lecture video, under our chapter of cost, concept and design economics, we are going to talk about classification of our market structure, specifically our classification of economic market structure. So our economic market structure can be classified as perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly and monopoly. So we basically cover different chapters related to engineering economics. So you can find the playlist down below so that you can check other videos related to engineering economics as well. So let's just jump into our classification of economic market structure. So as I have already told, we have four classifications of our economic market structure. They are perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly and monopoly. So we'll be talking about all of them one by one with the examples. So firstly, let's talk about so our perfect competition and monopolistic, they are quite related to each other. They just have slightly difference, and while oligopoly and monopoly have also quite similarities, and they are just a bit different with each other. So first, let's talk about our perfect competition and monopolistic competition. So what happens in our perfect competition and monopolistic competition is there are, in both the cases, there are large number of buyers and large number of sellers. But firstly, let's focus on our perfect competition. So firstly, let's focus on our perfect competition. So in our perfect competition economic structure, so what economic market structure, what basically happens is there are large number of large large number of buyers, and with large number of buyers there are large number of sellers as well. Large number of sellers. So what you need to understand is in a perfect competition market there is going to be large number of buyers and large number of sellers. So large number of buyers and large number of sellers, and there is no any such dominant sellers. There is no any dominant sellers. There is no dominant seller. So the buyers have many options to choose from. Since there are large number of sellers. So in a perfect competition market, what happens is all the sellers they are going to sell. All the sellers are going to sell. So this is a very important concept, so you need to focus. Right, this is the major difference. So all the sellers are going to sell exactly the same product, homogeneous. They are going to sell the exactly same homogeneous or identical product. So you might be thinking, for example, so a perfect competition market is more of a it is more of a theoretical concept. So but we can give a small example for this. Suppose let's say we have a a small sample where there are where there are certain number of farmers, as let's say they are selling the exact same type of mangoes. They are selling they are selling the exact same type of mango, because we are focusing on a very small region. So for a very small region we are going to have the same taste and almost the same size of mangoes. So the sellers are selling the exact same mangoes, and let's say we have a certain number of buyers. Suppose there are five buyers. Let's say this is a large number of buyers, and there are also going to be five sellers. So for a large number of buyers, there are going to be large number of sellers in our perfect competition. So in this case of five buyers, so we have five sellers. So these five buyers can buy from any of these sellers. So they can buy from any of these five sellers, because there is no any change. There is no any change in the product. The products are going to be exactly same. So there are going to be certain properties of this perfect competition. So we're going to talk about that. So since there are no any dominant and there are a large number of buyers and large number of sellers, so so what happens over in this type of market is, so first, as I've already told, there is no any dominant seller. Or any dominant firms or companies don't exist in this type of market. This type of market, and the products are completely homogeneous. The products the seller sells, they are completely identical. The products are completely identical, and since there are no any dominant seller in this type of market, so for any newcomers into this type of market, it is going to be easy. So there is easiness, or there is freedom of entry and exit into the market. freedom of entry and exit into the market. And next option and next feature of such type of product is so all the forms so all these so all the sellers, they are dominant over here. So as I've already told, there's no any particular dominant seller, so all of them, the sellers, are the price takers. They are the price takers in this type of market. And the demand, so in the demand curve for this is going to be perfectly elastic demand. So what does uh, elastic demand refer to? Demand refers that with increase in price, the demand for the market is going to be decrease. So price and demand are inversely proportional in this type of market. So let's say if a seller, so suppose let's say a certain seller increases the price abruptly. So if he was selling, let's say in the previous example, so let's say suppose a farmer was selling mango per kg cost at rupees 100. So if he decided to increase that price up to 200, so as you can see here, there are other four farmers which are already selling the exactly same mango at rupees 100 per kg. So all those buyers are going to shift to these four farmers. So with this increase in price for this one particular farmer, for his particular shop, the demand is going to get decrease abruptly. So as you can see here, for this type of market, we are going to have elastic demand, which means with increase in price, demand is going to get increased. So for so this is our simple example. So for our so another feature of this type of market is there is a perfect information and knowledge among knowledge among buyers and sellers, which is not much of an important factor. So and the price is determined. So as you can see here, the price for the product is going to be determined by the interaction of supply and demand. So if there is going to be higher demand, the prices might increase, but the prices are going to be increased by all the firms, by all the companies. There must be a mutual understanding between all the companies, because if a certain company increases the price abruptly, other are going to run out of business. And so in our last example, so there might not be a significantly higher profit in this type of market at the start, but in the long term, but in the long run they will make normal profits, not high amount of profits, since they cannot set the price according to their wish, because all the sellers are selling exactly the same product. So the buyers will have multiple options, and if a seller abruptly increases the price for the profit, the buyers are simply going to switch the seller. So this is all the examples of our perfect competition. So it's all the features of our perfect competition. So let's say, so as I have already told, this is a theoretical concept. This is much of a theoretical concept rather than a practical one. But let's see if we made a small change in our perfect competition. So in our monopolistic competition, everything is going to be same. So monopolistic is a real market system. It is a real market system, unlike our perfect competition. But in our monopolistic competition, the change is going to be the product. So since we had identical product in our perfect competition, the in our monopolistic competition, the products are going to be similar. They are going to be similar, but not exactly the same. So now let's talk about monopolistic competition. So in our monopolistic competition, there are going to be certain changes, small changes. In our monopolistic competition, there is going to be large number of buyers, and for that large number of buyers, we are going to have large number of sellers as well. There are going to be large number of sellers, but unlike perfect competition, these sellers, the product they sell, they are not going to be exactly identical. If they were exactly identical, it will be perfect competition. So in our monopolistic competition, they are going to be similar. So one of the example of for this can be mobile phones. So in our phones, there are different companies which sell similar products. Some might have a little bit of change, some might have higher quality of camera or higher quality of process or likewise, but they are more or less similar. Or let's say our something like our bread, so a product which we eat daily, or salt. So there might be different brands of bread. They might have different taste, they might have different price according to the demand, or different reasons, but they are going to be similar. But they are going to be similar similar So let's say they are going to they're not going to be exactly same. So there is a company of there is a bread of company A, and there's going to be a bread of company B. Then they are not going to be exactly same in taste, but they are going to be similar. A bread is going to taste like a bread either of company A or either of company B. So there are going to be a little bit difference in our products in a monopolistic competition. So this is what basically happens in our society. There are going to be large number of sellers, there are going to be large numbers of buyers, but the product the sellers sell, they're going to have little bit of difference. They're going to be similar, but they're going to have little bit of difference, and that little bit of difference is going to make our consumers, or make our buyers prefer one product over another. So there are going to be a little bit difference in our different so there are going to be different features of our monopolistic competition, so we'll be talking about that. So like our perfect competition, there are going to be large number of buyers and large number of sellers. So there are going to be many forms or many companies, many companies, and there is a freedom of entry and exit. So there are not going to be like dominant few dominant companies like our other companies. So there is still a freedom of entry and exit, and they are going to produce different products. So our this many forms, so let me just write down over here. So this our many forms, this is going to be an important so our many forms are going to product different products and the and right now this companies, in previously we had elastic demand, but right now we are going to have inelastic demand. So previously with increase in price, the demand was increasing, but right now with increase or decrease in our price, the demand is going to get directly increase. So the price and demand are directly related. So how is this? So let's say I had said there are two companies of bread, A and B. Suppose the bread company, it sells the better bread. It is more tastier, or it is more healthy, and it is more healthier. In that case, let's say the demand is increasing from it has a demand of 100 and it has a demand of 50 per day. So let's say the demand increases from 100 to 200, and this demand is decreasing up to 20. In that case, the price of this bread is going to be is going to get increased by this is going to get increased by this company A. Or you can think it in opposite way as well. Let's say the price decreases. So let's say the price decreases from 100 to 80 or 60. In that case, people are going to buy more. They are going to demand more of this product, thinking they can sell this product in the future. It might not happen in the case of bread, but let's say in the case of gold or other ornaments, whenever the price decreases, the demand is going to get the demand increases. Such an example is of inelastic demand, and in this case they make normal profits in the long run. They are going to make normal profits in the long run, like our perfect competition, but in our short term they are going to make super normal profits. So they are going to make more profits in our short term, super normal profits in our short term. And this is all about monopolistic competition. Next we'll be talking about our oligopoly and monopoly. So now we'll be talking about our last two market structures, oligopoly and monopoly. So now we'll be talking about oligopoly and a monopoly. So unlike our previous perfect market and monopolistic competition market, they are different. They are a little bit different. So in our previous examples, we had large number of buyers and large number of sellers. So in oligopoly, what we are going to have is we are going to have just few companies. There are going to be few sellers. There are going to be few sellers, but there are going to be large buyers. There are going to be large buyers. So in the case of, so right now we're talking about oligopoly, then we'll be talking about monopoly. So in the case of oligopoly, there are just going to be few dominant sellers. There are going to be 3 to 5 dominant firms. So they are going to be they are going to dominate the whole market. So there are going to be very few sellers. So in our case, it might be up to 3 to 5. It is not any exact number, but it but they can be up to 3 to 5. So in this case, there are going to be all these buyers, these dominant firms, all these sellers. They are either going to compete with each other. Compete they are going to compete with each other, or they are going to collaborate with each other. So in this case, they can set the price as much as they want, because there are just going to be few sellers and the buyers do not have any options. So they can influence the market to set their prices. So they can set the prices, they can increase their prices as they want, they can increase the prices. So since they are going to set the prices, all the buyers are going to be all the buyers in this case are going to be price takers. All the buyers are going to be price takers, since they don't have any option. And in this type of market, there is going to be a barrier to enter into the markets, and the new firms, they cannot enter and exit easily. So they cannot enter easily and establish themselves in such type of market, so that they cannot enter easily. So some of the examples of oligopoly can be like our smartphones. So in the case of smartphones, we just have few names like Samsung, iPhone, or Redmi. So we just have like around 3 to 5 big names. So they are our few sellers, but we have like millions of consumers of the millions of consumers of this type of company. So in this case, all these three companies, they are going to compete with each other. Or if they would increase their price of their phone, they are going to collaborate with each other, and they are going to work together to increase their phone, or make their dominant products better. So this is how an oligopoly market works. So now moving on to monopoly. So in terms of monopoly, there are not going to be much changes. So in terms of monopoly, there are going to be only one seller. So in the case of oligopoly, we had 3 to 5 dominant forms, so 3 to 5 dominant sellers. But in the case of monopoly, we're just going to have one seller. There is going to be a single seller. So let's say in the case of our phones, we did not had Samsung and iPhone. There are just Redmi selling our product. So this was going to be our monopoly market. There will not be any Samsung, there will not be any iPhone, there will not be any there will not be any other seller. There will be just be one seller, and he will be dominating and he will be completely dominating the market. And in such cases, the consumers do not have any option. They do not have any alternative. So consumers, so I'm writing by green for monopoly market. Consumers do not have any alternative. They do not have any alternative. In case of oligopoly, they at least had 3 to 5 options to buy from. But in a monopoly market, since there's only one seller, they do not have any options. So if they need that product, they need to buy that product from that particular seller only. And so in this type of market, consumers lose all their power. They do not have any control over their they do not have any control over their market. And the seller, that single seller, can set the price as much as he want. He can increase the price as per his demand. So monopoly markets are extremely undesirable, but monopoly markets are extremely rare as well. They are extremely rare, and are extremely rare to find. So these are the different types of economic market: oligopoly, monopoly, monopolistic, and perfect competition. So at the end of the video, we have a little bit of a question. So if you were to set up a market, set up your business or set up a market in all these four types of market, which one will be the easiest and which one will be the difficult to settle yourself in, settle your business in those type of market among those four, you can comment down below. So which one will be the easiest to set up your business in, and which one will be the difficult to set up in this among those four economic market structure. So yeah, comment down below. So if you have the and I will answer you whether you have your correct answer or not. So do subscribe our channel for more such videos, and if you like our video, do like the channel, and check the description box below for the playlist of engineering economics and for related videos. Thank you.